Previously on Get
Real.
So our next movie, Miss Pengrino, is a little piece of magic called Day Shift.
Right.
Do you remember this movie?
Not by the name of the movie, but when you explained it to me the other day, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that's what it was called.
It's gonna be a hot one in Los Angeles.
So what's on the agenda today?
Close your eyes, my son.
My eyes are closed.
Like every day.
What are you doing in my room?
And we're gonna have to help each other kind of remember the plot a little bit, because I've kind of forgotten it too. It's vampire hunters, right? Is that what it is? Okay. So it's got the Jamie Foxx.
Got the Jamie Foxx.
And he's a retired vampire hunter, right? No, he's a disgraced vampire hunter.
Yes.
He used to be a part of the official. This movie's so stupid. He used to be a part of the official vampire hunter union. He got kicked out because he's a loose cannon.
He doesn't follow the rules.
Doesn't follow the rules. So now he kind of just does it on his own. But now they're like, we need you. We need Jamie Foxx. And they're like, you got to be the legend. You got to be like the legendary vampire hunter, Snoop Dogg. And Snoop Dogg comes in and is big cool. Yeah.
So the reason they're having vampire hunters, I mean, obviously because vampires exist, but currently in this movie, vampires are they're almost like a drug cartel.
Oh.
They're trying to take over. They have found a way to survive during the day. And so they're trying to build up more vampires to build their army to take over humans. And
it's just as bad as it sounds. Yes. No, this movie was awful. Of course you did. Of course you did. You like shit.
I know.
Which is saying a lot, because I like shit too. Okay. Some of my all-time favorite
kinds of shit.
Some of my all-time favorite movies are some of the worst movies ever made, and so I just don't understand where our wavelengths detract and they go on their separate paths.
You like bad things made back when. I like bad things currently.
One of my favorite movies, Wild Wild West. I'm always walking around going, Wild Wild West.
It's really aggravating, to be honest.
That movie was awful, but I loved that movie. And movies like Johnny English, which was an awful movie, but I loved it. And there's a bunch of other ones out there that are bad movies that were of a big budget, but I love them. And then there's movies like low-budget movies that I love too, like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
But you see that sucker over there? 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds.
Did you just die?
A little bit.
Okay.
Then there's low-budget films that I like too, like Plan 9 from Outer Space and Suburban Sasquatch. Those are great films.
You also forgot to mention that James Franco's little brother is
Dave Franco.
It is Dave Franco. I was going to say Dave Franco, and then I was like, oh, no, that might not be the same.
Let me just say this. It takes a lot to make James Franco look good these days. Dave Franco made it happen.
No, he didn't!
I said what I said. Come at me.
But you see that sucker over there? 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds.
The movie was long. It was a 2-hour action comedy, and I'm just like, really? Why? Why did it need to be this long? So I kind of just sat there and was just like, whatever. And but it was so much, Miss Pengrino, and we didn't need that much.
It was a lot.
It was.
But I still really enjoyed it. And I think I'm the only one. I think his parents hated it. He hated it.
My dad abandoned it. He didn't even stay for the whole film. Right. He went and worked in his office while we were watching it.
Your mom, I think, got on her laptop or started reading a book.
I got up and did shit, and I was like, I don't want to do.
I was the only one who actually watched.
Because this is crap, and you like this crap.
Well, so it reminded me of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
That's crap too.
I also like that movie.
That movie was crap.
I like that movie.
I'd never heard of that. When the movie came out that year, I had never heard of it. And apparently it came from a series of books or some shit. I'm like, what a stupid ass premise! Abraham Lincoln killing vampires when he was alive? What the hell is what? Say it.
What the hell is even that?
And I don't understand
to stop
it.
slavery.
Vampires were doing slavery? Was that what it was?
They weren't doing slavery. They just had most control in the South. And to keep control and to be able to feed on slaves, they manipulated the South to like fight for it.
They could have used them in True Blood.
Probably.
Used Abraham Lincoln in True Blood.
Yeah.
Because there was mostly took place in the South. Took place in your neck of the woods, that show. You had to hum people.
Stop!
I get ridiculous. Now we will kind of fuck all we go. That we will book all that my bad. Now we will kind of fuck all we go. That we
In case you don't know where Miss Pengrino is from. Yes. Just reminding our viewers where you are, who you are, and what you're.
You don't like any of the movies this go.
Because I mean, I think there's a reason why we didn't. Again, in case you didn't see it in part one, we don't have ink for our computer. Because a lot of these movies we felt didn't deserve a Get Real, and there's a reason for that. Of course, some of the movies that we did on Get Real, as I look back on it now, and I'm like, they didn't deserve a Get Real. Some of them didn't deserve a Get Real either. But yeah, I mean, some of these movies, a lot of them, they just were not great. And this movie was just so. It's very clear that Jamie Foxx is just kind of doing whatever nowadays. It's like
Sandra Bullock. Whatever.
I won an Oscar once. I've had a good career. Yeah, I'll do a movie about vampire hunting. Whatever, fuck it.
Jamie Foxx, Snoop Dogg, Dave Franco.
Snoop Dogg makes sense. Dave Franco makes sense. Jamie Foxx is an Academy Award-winning actor. Actor is the key word here. And he decided, yeah, why not? What the hell? I'm going to do this pile of cow dung right here. And it's just sad. It just makes me sad that he's a good actor. And, he was in, Superman. He was in Spider-Man No Way Home.
He was.
But it was only because he was in the pile of shit that was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So, which is another film. It was like, wait, superhero? Marvel? Spider-Man? Ding, I'm in. He didn't have to do that film, and he did.
Yeah.
Who am I? What am I?
Would you recommend Day Shift?
Welcome to the day shift, motherfucker.
Works every time.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
He hates me right now.
And finally, Miss Pengrino.
Hates me right now.
And finally, Miss Pengrino, the final film that we saw this year, that we did not do a Get Real on, which I wish we had gotten around to, but it's okay, because we were busy with other Get Reals and other shows. We actually ended up doing a Played Out on this particular show.
Oh, we did.
Because it had a trivia game, but we're going to talk about its movie now. It's the Bob's Burgers movie.
All right.
Oh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, boy.
Dad, I don't want to stop your flow, but can you pass the peel off?
Oh, God.
That's butter. You know what? Butter's better.
Now, I'm not going to say I love Bob's Burgers. But
we're not going to say it.
But I love Bob's Burgers. I love Bob's Burgers so much that I have the whole Belcher family here with me. There's Tina, Jean, Bob, Louise, and Linda. You're wearing your Linda glasses, aren't you, Miss Pengrino?
I am.
You're wearing it. See, she wore those at Halloween when she played Halloween. When she played Linda, but she dressed up as Linda for Halloween, and I dressed up as Bob. So yeah, I love Bob's Burgers. That being said, what are you doing? That being said, the Bob's Burgers movie left a little to be desired. It was a good film. What did you think of the Bob's Burgers movie?
Let's just say Bob's Burgers is best indulged in 20 to 30-minute increments.
That is apropos.
Yeah. So basically what it was is one really, really long episode. Not that that's like a terrible thing. I enjoyed it. Again, I did. It's not a terrible thing. It's just very long and drawn out. And like I said, Bob's Burgers is best indulged, like most cartoon comedies, in 20 to 30-minute increments, which would be the time of an episode. That's
the thing. It's like this movie was not bad.
No.
It was not terrible. But they could have written it better because it wasn't an epic. Like usually when a cartoon decides to do a feature film of it, whenever they decide to do a feature film of an animated series, they usually go all out. You remember Beavis and Butthead? Beavis and Butthead was such a dumbass cartoon on MTV. It's just it's a great show. It's just a stupid show.
I like it.
It's a silly show. But then they did Beavis and Butthead Do America, and it was like a really good movie because they go cross country, they do all these crazy things, get themselves in a lot of trouble. They get pursued by the FBI. Like it's a bunch of crazy stuff that happens. And then there's the Rugrats movie, and you know the thing about the Rugrats in every episode is they go on an adventure.
Yeah.
But they're always not too far from their parents. It's always what adventure to them is just like on the other side of the kiosk, whatever. Nothing, whatever is outside the playpen there. But then in the Rugrats movie, they get lost in the forest. Like a big manhunt had to be going on for them to find them, and they introduced a new character, Dill.
Baby Dill.
Tommy's little brother, and then they did it again in the next one. They introduced a sister for Chucky. Yeah, Dill Pickles, get it?
Sorry.
But anyway, like they went all out and did these big things, and like in the Simpsons movie, like all this catastrophic stuff happens to Springfield and all of that. In Bob's Burgers, it's like you said, it's just like a long version of an episode. That's all it was. It was just a long episode of Bob's Burgers, and a part of me says that's nice that you want to go and see a movie that is relatively, it's you want to see him. Oh God, I've lost my train of thought.
An unmitigated disaster.
Reboot.
Some part of me says that's refreshing that you want to go see a movie that's just a longer version of your favorite show, but you want to see a movie because you want a different story. You want something that's exciting and new, and so that's what you kind of look for in an animated film. Is you want to see like this big, huge thing that they get themselves involved with, and that didn't really happen.
I was kind of hoping they would leave their
city,
their
unnamed city, which is after 12 years they've never named where they are.
It's not even a city. It really takes place on that street.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Like, does it go past that and then the dock with the carnival?
Right. They needed to get out more, but no, it stayed right there where they always were, and that's a great point. Just like Beavis and Butthead Do America, just like the Rugrats movie, it got out. It went out and did some things. They went out and did some things that were different than the past film or past episodes of the TV show. So it's that was the only thing that was left to be desired. But it's a fun premise. It's a fun thing to the film. Something terrible happens to I think the big hole opens up, right, or something like that. Oh, that's what. Yeah, it was a big hole that gets opened up in the middle of the street, of course, right in front of Bob's Burgers, and they need to get it filled because this big event's coming up, and Bob wants customers. Literally a plot to an episode right there. Yeah, and then it uncovers all these like different mysteries and things like that, and then there's a big epic conclusion. Don't spoil it. You're about to say it, weren't you? Do you even remember what happened in the movie? Do you? Miss Pengrino, would you recommend Bob's Burgers, the movie?
If you're a Bob's Burgers fan, I mean, this is actually a hard one for me.
I'm gonna set these down now.
To say if I like legit recommend it or not, because your sister, who's a Bob's Burgers fan,
She didn't particularly like the film.
like it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it was just a really long episode, and it's not what anybody was expecting. So, now again, I know she likes Bob. I don't know if she likes it as much as you do.
Probably not. She doesn't like anything as much as I do.
Right. She would probably have preferred a Rick and Morty movie.
Maybe.
Than a Bob's Burgers. But for me, because I'm not the hugest Bob's fan.
You're not a huge Bob's Burgers fan?
How dare you? I mean, I enjoy it.
Secular blasphemy.
I know, especially since one of my nieces' middle name is Louise, after the character.
Did they name her after that?
Yeah.
After the character? Really?
Yeah, Tova Louise.
That makes me happy.
After Louise.
I thought they named her after a family member.
Nope. It's after Bob.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah, so you're the ugly stepchild, or sorry, the ugly middle child between me and your sister, because we're both big Bob's fans.
Yeah,
and
she's huge Bob's Burgers fan too.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just for me, the cartoon stuff, it doesn't hit at the top, like the obsession for me anymore as it used to when I was younger.
Animated shows, you mean?
Yeah. It's just not like Family Guy used to hit really high for me. It doesn't hit as high anymore. It just
yeah.
I started getting into crime documentaries, and I kind of lost all sense of like fun and reality there.
This is fine.
But
I'm forever young though. Like I'm a kid at heart.
So as somebody who's probably just not as into it, it was okay. Am I gonna sit and watch it again? If you don't put it on, no, I'm not gonna go put it on.
I got it for Blu-ray on Christmas.
Yeah.
I got it on Blu-ray for Christmas.
So if you're a really true Bob's Burgers fan, do I recommend it? Yes. If you're like an occasional Bob's Burgers fan, like you'll put it on, you'll enjoy it. You know.
And I'm the polar opposite, because right behind Mr. Pengrino is The Simpsons. Right up there is Family Guy. You saw my Bob's Burgers characters. I have tons of animated characters. I love animated shows, and therefore I love their animated films that accompany them. Again, this movie was not great. It was not the best thing they could have done. It didn't do well at the box office, and it was pulled from theaters pretty fast. And I couldn't figure out why until it came to streaming and we watched it, and I was like, okay, so it's not what everyone expected. It was not what we expected. It needed to be, like we said, a little bit more in depth. They needed to get out of their little corner there. They needed to go do things. But then again, the show is called Bob's Burgers. So if it doesn't take place at Bob's Burgers, then I guess you don't really have a movie. So I don't know.
I mean, you could have. You could have.
You could have?
Like,
Woulda, coulda, shoulda?
Burgers could have taken like a food truck. They've done that in an episode before, and they could have brought back that food truck and did something. Or like maybe there was like a cook-off competition, and he could have gone to a cook-off competition.
Do you remember the SpongeBob SquarePants movie?
No, I didn't watch that.
Mr. Krabs opens up a second location.
They could have done that.
They could have opened up a second Bob's Burgers location.
They really don't have the money to do that.
They don't.
You have 7 days to make your payment. 7?
But like, let's say,
crashed and burned quickly,
or maybe,
but you know,
I was getting ready to give them a plot, but I hate this plot in movies where it's all a dream. They could have done it and it'd been all a dream, but that would have sucked even more. But so I mean, there's other things they could have done.
It could have been like a burger competition.
It could have been a burger competition. It could have been a food competition between him and Jimmy Pesto. Things like that. There could have been a lot of things that could have been done.
I just think it would have, if they got them out of the street that they live on and took them somewhere else, it probably would have been more attractive to people to watch, because that's I want to see Bob and Linda and the kids somewhere else.
I get it. I get you. Yeah, they needed to get out more, but it was fine for what it was. And I would recommend it because I think it's a fun movie. If you're a Bob's Burgers fan, but even if you're not, go see it. It's an interesting film. They're fun characters. There are a lot of fun people in the movie, so why not go see this movie? So I recommend go see the Bob's Burgers movie. Well, there you go, Miss Pengrino. That is all the movies that we watched, but we did not review on Get Real. much shorter list this year than last year.
Yeah.
Long ass two-parter last year, but yeah, it was a little bit different. I will say there's some movies that we didn't even see that I regret that we didn't see.
Minions.
For
breaks
Minions,
my heart. That breaks my heart.
Minions was one of them. Wakanda Forever, the second Black Panther movie. We've not seen those yet. We will see them once they're on. So I think Minions is on Blu-ray and probably on some sort of streaming service somewhere.
Wakanda Forever will be shortly on.
Will
Disney
be eventually on Disney Plus, and I'll get the Blu-ray because I have a Marvel collection. But then there was another one that we should have watched at Christmas time, and I can't believe that I decided not to. Now I'm kicking myself. A Christmas Story Christmas. I'm kicking myself.
Really sorry. I was sorry. I was really wondering. Surprised that you didn't ask to watch that after you decided A Christmas Story was now going to be one of your favorite freaking Christmas movies.
Because this was the year I decided that A Christmas Story was one of the best Christmas movies ever made. It took a long time.
That one's still streaming though.
Yeah,
we could actually go watch that.
I thought about doing it before we did this. I was like, that's a lot of work. I don't really want to. But
I
yeah,
would have let you watch that by yourself.
But like, yeah, because when we decided we were going to watch Spirited for our Christmas movie review, I was like, that's it. I'm not going to watch A Christmas Story Christmas because we've already done our Christmas movie. But then I thought, well, we could have. Then I thought, just literally like yesterday, well, we could have done it on this episode. Talked about it. But it is what it is. I can watch it later again and still. But yeah, so there's some I have regrets of not seeing and for not reviewing on Get Real. But it is what it is. But there you go. Those are the movies we saw, but we didn't review. And now you see why we didn't review them.
Yay.
From all of us here at Get Real, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
No.
And a happy...
No.
You're done. You're done.